Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, and welcome to our class at the Sri Vidya Temple on Devi Mahatmyam. Last time we started Kilakam and we got to the 7th shloka. So why don't we just practice chanting from the start of Kilakam to the end of 7th shloka, and then we'll go on, starting with the Ganapati prayer. Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Viknopashantaye. Okay, looks like I lost Shruti. Oh wait, there it is. That's the real version. All right, starting from the beginning. Om Asya, everybody. Asya Shri Kilaka Mantrasya Shiva Rishihi Anushtup Chandaha Sri Mahasaraswati Devata Sri Jagadamba Prityartham Saptashati Padhangat Vena Jape Viniyogaha. Om Namaschandikayai Markandeya Uvacha Vishuddha Jnana Dehaya Trivedi Divya Chakshushe Shreyah Prapti Nimittaya Namas Somardhadharine Sarvametat vijaniyan mantrarnamabhikilakam sopikshemamavapnoti satatam japya tatparaha siddhyantyucchatanadini vastuni sakalanyapi etena stuvatam devi stotramatrena siddhyati na mantro naushadham tatra na kinchidapi vidyate vina japyena siddhyeta sarvamucchatanadikam Samakrarnyapi siddhyanti lokashankamimam haraha Krutva nimantrayamasa sarvamevamidam shubham Stotram vai chandikayastu tacca guptam jakarasaha Samaptirna cha punyasya tam yathavan niyantranam sopikshemamavapnoti sarvamevam na samshayah Krishnayam vajaturtashyam ashtam yam vasamahitaha. So that's how we got to. So definitely the places to practice are like which is the dirgha, which is the hraswa, where is there holding versus no holding, and that'll be a big help in learning. So starting with the next shloka. Dadati pratigrunhati
Dadati pratigrunhati Pratigrunhati.
So here, this is one of those words where even though the H comes first and is followed by a nasal sound, you pronounce the nasal first and then the H, just like Brahma, Vanhi, words like that. Same situation because it's an H with a nasal following it. So that would be Grunhati. Pratigrunhati. Dadati pratigrunhati. ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति
ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति
नान्यथैषा प्रसीदति
नान्यथैषा प्रसीदति नान्यथैषा प्रसीदति
ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति नान्यथैषा प्रसीदति
ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति नान्यथैषा प्रसीदति ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति नान्यथैषा प्रसीदति
इत्थं रूपेण कीलेन
इत्थं रूपेण कीलेन इत्थं रूपेण कीलेन
महादेवेन कीलितम्
महादेवेन कीलितम् महादेवेन कीलितम्
इत्थं रूपेण कीलेन महादेवेन कीलितम्
इत्थं रूपेण कीलेन महादेवेन कीलितम् इत्थं रूपेण कीलेन महादेवेन कीलितम्
यो निष्कीलां विधायैनां
यो निष्कीलां विधायैनां यो निष्कीलां विधायैनां
नित्यं जपति संस्फुटम्
नित्यं जपति संस्फुटम् नित्यं जपति संस्फुटम्
यो निष्कीलां विधायैनां नित्यं जपति संस्फुटम्
यो निष्कीलां विधायैनां नित्यं जपति संस्फुटम् यो निष्कीलां विधायैनां नित्यं जपति संस्फुटम्
ससिद्धः सगणः सोऽपि
ससिद्धः सगणः सोऽपि ससिद्धः सगणः सोऽपि
गन्धर्वो जायते नरः
गन्धर्वो जायते नरः गन्धर्वो जायते नरः
ससिद्धः सगणः सोऽपि गन्धर्वो जायते नरः
ससिद्धः सगणः सोऽपि गन्धर्वो जायते नरः ससिद्धः सगणः सोऽपि गन्धर्वो जायते नरः
न चैवाप्यटतस्तस्य
न चैवाप्यटतस्तस्य न चैवाप्यटतस्तस्य.
So this is a very tricky one. This is like a tongue twister. So first nachaivapya, and then there's tatastasya, tatastasya, tatas. So that's something to focus in on and practice like 10 or 20 times in a row, just so that the mouth gets used to saying that, because it's definitely not typical. So let's chant just that half line 5 times in a row. Na chaivapyatatastasya, na chaivapyatatastasya, na chaivapyatatastasya, na chaivapyatatastasya, na chaivapyatatastasya. Bhayam kwapi hajayate.
Bhayam kwapi hajayate. Bhayam kwapi hajayate.
Na chaivapyatatastasya bhayam kwapi hajayate.
न चैवाप्यटतस्तस्य भयं क्वापीह जायते न चैवाप्यटतस्तस्य भयं क्वापीह जायते
नापमृत्युवशं याति
नापमृत्युवशं याति नापमृत्युवशं याति
मृतो मोक्षमवाप्नुयात्
मृतो मोक्षमवाप्नुयात् मृतो मोक्षमवाप्नुयात्
नापमृत्युवशं याति मृतो मोक्षमवाप्नुयात्
नापमृत्युवशं याति मृतो मोक्षमवाप्नुयात् नापमृत्युवशं याति मृतो मोक्षमवाप्नुयात्.
Okay, so that's the end of the 10th shloka. Let's go to back to the 6th and chant the last 5 shlokas together. Stotram vai chandikayastu tacca guptam chakarasah samaptirna cha punyasya tam yathavanniyantranam sopikshemamavapnoti sarvamevam na samshayah Krishnayam vachaturdasyamashtamyam vasavahitaha dadati pratigruhnhati nanyathesha prasidati itham rupena kilena mahadevena kilitam yo nishkilam vidhayainam nityam japati samsphutam sasiddhas saganas sopi gandharvo jayate narah na chaivaapyatatastasya bhayam kvapiha jayate napamrityuvasham yati mrito mokshamavapnuyat. Good. So we're starting the 11th shloka in Kilakam. Nyatva prarabhya kurvita
ज्ञात्वा प्रारभ्य कुर्वीत ज्ञात्वा प्रारभ्य कुर्वीत
न कुर्वाणो विनश्यति
न कुर्वाणो विनश्यति न कुर्वाणो विनश्यति
ज्ञात्वा प्रारभ्य कुर्वीत न कुर्वाणो विनश्यति
ज्ञात्वा प्रारभ्य कुर्वीत न कुर्वाणो विनश्यति ज्ञात्वा प्रारभ्य कुर्वीत न कुर्वाणो विनश्यति
ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्न
ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्न ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्न
मिदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः
मेदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः मेदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः
ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्नमिदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः
ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्नमिदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्नमिदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः. This shloka is a little challenging. Why don't we chant the whole shloka 2 times through?
Nyatva prarabhya kurvita na kurvano vinashyati
ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्नमिदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः ज्ञात्वा प्रारभ्य कुर्वीत न कुर्वाणो विनश्यति ततो ज्ञात्वैव सम्पन्नमिदं प्रारभ्यते बुधैः सौभाग्यादि च यत्किञ्चित् सौभाग्यादि च यत्किञ्चित् सौभाग्यादि च यत्किञ्चित् दृश्यते ललनाजने दृश्यते ललजाजने दृश्यते ललजाजने
Lalanajane. Lalanajane. Saubhagyadi cha yankid. Sorry. Saubhagyadi cha yatkinchit drishyate lalanajane.
Saubhagyadi cha yatkinchit drishyate lalanajane. सौभाग्यादि च यत्किञ्चित् दृश्यते ललनाजने
तत्सर्वं तत्प्रसादेन
तत्सर्वं तत्प्रसादेन तत्सर्वं तत्प्रसादेन
तेन चाप्यमिदं शुभम्
तेन चाप्यमिदं शुभम् तेन जाप्यमिदं शुभम्
तत्सर्वं तत्प्रसादेन तेन जाप्यमिदं शुभम्
तत्सर्वं तत्प्रसादेन तेन जाप्यमिदं शुभम् तत्सर्वं तत्प्रसादेन तेन जाप्यमिदं शुभम्
शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन्
शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन् शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन्
स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः
स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः
शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन् स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः
शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन् स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन् स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः
भवत्येव समग्रापि
भवत्येव समग्रापि भवत्येव समग्रापि
ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत्
ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत् ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत्
भवत्येव समग्रापि ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत्
भवत्येव समग्रापि ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत् भवत्येव समग्रापि ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत्.
Let's chant this 13th shloka 2 times through together. शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन् स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः भवत्येव समग्रापि ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत् शनैस्तु जप्यमानेऽस्मिन् स्तोत्रे सम्पत्तिरुच्चकैः भवत्येव समग्रापि ततः प्रारभ्यमेव तत्. Yes.
The 12th one, is it the second line? Is it Japyamidam or Japyamidam?
That one I have Japyamidam.
Okay, Devanagari says Japyamidam.
It does?
Maybe it's for the
So,
Dirgha, Japyamidam. Okay.
okay. So okay, Japyam. Okay. So what we're chanting is based on the Gita press. So that's the copy you have.
Yeah.
I do have a document like all typed in the code that's been proofread against Gita press. I'm having my computer issues, so I haven't been able to turn it into all the scripts yet. But I do have like an entire Devi Mahatmyam, like with everything, including everything you would chant during a homa, like everywhere the swahas come, all the little ending pieces at the end of the chapters for homa. That's basically ready and proofread, but I just have to run it through the software and make all the scripts and all those things. So I'm just using these documents, which are like 99% good, in the meantime until I can get that document ready. But that's Gita Press is very good. The Gita Press is definitely probably the best. That's what Ramesh Aya teaches with. So everything is based on that, because different traditions, they'll chant slightly different things, or there may be a slight difference in the words. Like here and there, like it might say bhakti or it might say bhukti, some small differences are there. So that's why we follow Gita Press, just to make it a little bit simple and consistent. All right, so next we have 14th shloka. Aishwaryam yat prasadena.
Aishwaryam yat prasadena.
It says yat in my version. Yat prasadena. Aishwaryam yat prasadena.
Aishwaryam yat prasadena. Aishwaryam yat prasadena.
Saubhagyarogya sampadaha.
Saubhagyarogya sampadaha. Saubhagyarogya sampadaha.
Aishwaryam yat prasadena saubhagyarogya sampadaha.
Aishwaryam yat prasadena saubhagyarogya sampadaha. Aishwaryam yat prasadena saubhagyarogya sampadaha.
Shatruhanif paro mokshas.
Shatruhanif paro mokshas. Shatruhanif paro mokshas.
Stuyate sanakyam janaihi.
Struyate sanakim janaihi. Struyate sanakim janaihi.
Shatruhanif paro mokshas stuyate sanakyam janaihi.
Shatruhanif paro mokshas suyate sanakim janaihi. Shatruhanif paro mokshas suyate sanakim janaihi.
Can we read the way it is here? Is it okay? Shatruhani paro mokshaha stuyate sanakim janaihi.
So some people will sometimes pronounce Visarga in that way, but the way that, like if you listen to Chalakere brothers and the way they chant Visarga, in the middle of a line, Visarga is not pronounced in the full way. It's not pronounced as aha or ihi.
Because you are adding up the next letter.
So the way you pronounce it is the Visarga takes on the sound of the following sound. If it's an S sound.
Yes.
So
does it change any meaning of it if I chant the way it is here? That's my question.
What do you mean the way it is?
Like it says paro mokshaha stuyate sanakim janaihi.
So the meaning
aha split aha and the stuyate. So we generally you joined it, right? So
In traditional chanting, like if you were to go, like if your parents put you in the Pathashala to learn Vedas from the early age in a very orthodox and authentic way, you would pronounce visarga, not aha, in the middle of a line. So if you listen to Chandakere brothers, who are very learned and knowledgeable, this is how they chant it, as one flow. And actually, if you look in some of the older scripts, like older than Devanagari, there's a special character for visarga as it comes in the middle of a line. And they also refer to it as ardha visarga. So visarga at the end of a line is like visarga with aha, ihi, and so on. When it comes in the middle, it's referred to as ardha visarga, half visarga. So that's indicating that we don't pronounce it in that full way in the middle of the line. Okay. So there was actually like a different, symbol. There was also a different symbol for visarga in front of ka and ka. And also another one in front of pa and pa. And they have different terms for those. So like actually visarga can also be called visarjaniya. That's just one like more Vedic way to refer to it. And then the term is jihva mulya, if it's that kha sound in front of ka and ka. If it's the fa sound, it's referred to as upadmaniya. And that's the name of it is actually telling you where in the apparatus you pronounce it. Jihva mulya means the root of the tongue. So where's the root of the tongue? It's somewhere in the throat. Kha. Upadmaniya has to do with the lips. I don't know the literal translation, but it has to do with the lips. So that's why it's the fa sound. So the name itself is telling you exactly where in the mouth you pronounce it. So that's a very clear indication that like we didn't make something up. It's actually in the name. And these things are also mentioned in like the Taittiriya Pratishakyas, which are the Vedic texts that talk about pronunciation for these things. So that's Vedic pronunciation, and technically Devi Mahatmyam is not Vedic in that sense. It's considered more Pauranic from the Puranas. But we still maintain a lot of that same kind of pronunciation.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we've gotten to the end, so we can go back to the 11th shloka and just review the last 4 that we did and chant that one time through all together. Nyatva prarabhya kurvita na kurvano vinashyati tato jnatvaiva sampannamidam prarabhyate bodhaihi saubhagyadi cha yatkinchit drishyate lalanajane tatsarvam tat prasadena tena japyamidam shubham shanaistu japyamanesmin stotre sampattiruccakaihi bhavatyeva samagrapi tatah prarabhyameva tat aishwaryam yat prasadena saubhagya rogya sampadaha shatruhanif paro mokshastu yate sanakim janaihi. So the most effective way to practice is to notice where you yourself are having trouble. Because for every person, there's some different line that might be more tricky than another. Some lines are tricky for everybody, no matter what. But definitely it's an individual thing. So the best thing is that we ourselves should notice when we're commonly tripping over a certain phrase or a certain combination of sounds and zero in on that and practice it repeatedly. So it's better to practice those difficult parts multiple times than to just practice the whole thing once through or twice through, because it doesn't really drill it into your brain. So that's my advice for the tricky parts. So it's only 3:30, so why don't we go ahead and start Ratri Suktam. So Ratri Suktam is the next thing that we would chant as the preliminaries for doing Devi Mahatmyam, Parayanam. And this is actually the Tantropam Ratri Suktam. There's also something else called Ratri Suktam, which is the Vaidika Ratri Suktam. We don't, in this style of chanting, we don't chant that in the beginning normally.
Is this also from the Puranas?
Which one?
The Ratri Suktam, is it also from the Puranas or is it like Vedic? Because Suktam is something I...
Normally Suktam is something Vedic, but it doesn't have to be. It literally means like something that is very well spoken.
Okay.
Like supreme, uktam, spoken. So it's normally used to refer to something from the Vedas, but not always. So this particular one is not Vedic. And the nice thing about learning this is that a lot of these shlokas are actually in Devi Mahatmyam as well. So when you learn this, you'll also have made a start, and you will have learned some of those shlokas too. So you'll recognize them later on. And it'll be a welcome break from the challenge. All right. Vishweshwarim Jagadhatrim
Vishweshwarim Jagadhatrim Vishweshwarim Jagadhatrim
Sthiti Samharakarinim
Sthiti Samharakarinim Sthiti Samharakarinim
Vishweshwarim Jagadhatrim Sthiti Samharakarinim
Vishweshwarim Jagadhatrim Sthiti Samharakarinim Vishweshwarim Jagadhatrim Sthiti Samharakarinim
Netram Bhagavatim Vishnu
Nidram Bhagavatim Vishnu Nidram Bhagavatim Vishnu
Ratulam Tejasaf Prabhu
Ratulam Tejasaf Prabhu Ratulam Tejasaf Prabhu
Netram Bhagavatim Vishnu Ratulam Tejasaf Prabhu
Nidram Bhagavatim Vishnu Ratulam Tejasaf Prabhu Nidram Bhagavatim Vishnu Ratulam Tejasaf Prabhu. And here's one of those cases where Visarga is pronounced as a if sound. Tejasaf Prabhu. Tejasaf Prabhu. So at the end it's uhu, but in the middle, because it's followed by the pa, it becomes Tejasaf Prabhu. Okay. Brahmovacha 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 Tvam swaha Tvam swadha Tvam hi Tvam swaha Tvam swadha Tvam hi Tvam swaha Tvam swadha Tvam hi Vashatkaraswaratmika 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 Tvam swaha Tvam swadha Tvam hi Vashatkaraswaratmika Tvam swaha Tvam swadha Tvam hi Vashatkaraswaratmika Tvam swaha Tvam swadha Tvam hi Vashatkaraswaratmika. So this line has a lot of holding in it, so it will actually be pronounced, it'll take a little bit longer to pronounce this line than some of the other lines because of all the holding. So that's something to watch out for. Next line.
सुधात्वमक्षरे नित्ये
सुधात्वमक्षरे नित्ये सुधात्वमक्षरे नित्ये
त्रिधा मात्रात्मिका स्थिता
त्रिधा मात्रात्मिका स्थिता त्रिधा मात्रात्मिका स्थिता
सुधात्वमक्षरे नित्ये त्रिधा मात्रात्मिका स्थिता
सुधात्वमक्षरे नित्ये त्रिधा मात्रात्मिका स्थिता सुधात्वमक्षरे नित्ये त्रिधा मात्रात्मिका स्थिता
अर्धमात्रा स्थिता नित्या
अर्धमात्रा स्थिता नित्या अर्धमात्रा स्थिता नित्या
यानुच्चार्या विशेषतः
यानुच्चार्या विशेषतः यानुच्चार्या विशेषतः
अर्धमात्रा स्थिता नित्या यानुच्चार्या विशेषतः
अर्धमात्रा स्थिता नित्या यानुच्चार्या विशेषतः अर्धमात्रा स्थिता नित्या यानुच्चार्या विशेषतः
त्वमेव सन्ध्या सावित्री
त्वमेव सन्ध्या सावित्री त्वमेव सन्ध्या सावित्री
त्वं देवी जननी परा
त्वं देवी जननी परा त्वं देवी जननी परा
त्वमेव सन्ध्या सावित्री त्वं देवी जननी परा
त्वमेव सन्ध्या सावित्री त्वं देवी जननी परा त्वमेव सन्ध्या सावित्री त्वं देवी जननी परा
त्वयैतद्धार्यते विश्वम्
त्वयैतद्धार्यते विश्वम् त्वयैतद्धार्यते विश्वम्
त्वयैतत्सृज्यते जगत्
त्वयैतत्सृज्यते जगत् त्वयैतत्सृज्यते जगत्
Is it Twayai or Twaye?
Was I saying it more like twaye? It is twayai. Twayai. It may sound sometimes the way I chant, it may sound a little more like a, but technically, yes, it is I. Let's try it. Let's see. I'll do the whole line. त्वयैतद्धार्यते विश्वं त्वयैतत्सृज्यते जगत्
त्वयैतद्धार्यते विश्वम् त्वयैतत्सृज्यते जगत् त्वयैतद्धार्यते विश्वम् त्वयैतत्सृज्यते जगत्
Let's just do that second half from Tvaye Tatsrujyate Jagata. Let's just do that 4 times. Tvaye Tatsrujyate Jagata. Tvaye Tatsrujyate Jagata. Tvaye Tatsrujyate Jagata. Tvaye Tatsrujyate Jagata. Tvaye Tatpalyate Devi.
त्वयैतत्पाल्यते देवि त्वयैतत्पाल्यते देवि
त्वमत्स्यन्ते च सर्वदा
त्वमत्स्यन्ते च सर्वदा त्वमत्स्यन्ते च सर्वदा
त्वयैतत्पाल्यते देवि त्वमत्स्यन्ते च सर्वदा
त्वयैतत्पाल्यते देवि त्वमत्स्यन्ते च सर्वदा त्वयैतत्पाल्यते देवि त्वमत्स्यन्ते च सर्वदा.
So this line is tricky because in the middle you have holding. So instead of Devi Twamat, Devit Twamat, Devit Twamat. So you link the lines together, there should be holding there. And you hold and stress that it, Twamit, Devit, Devit Twamat. Tvayetat palyate Devit Twamatsyante cha sarvada.
So Twamat, the is there. When you chant the whole part of it, Devi Twamat Syante cha sarvada.
Yeah, that's it. So why don't we try just that line 4 times? Yep. Tvayetat palyate Devi Twamatsyante cha sarvada. Tvayaitat palyate Devi Twamatsyante cha sarvada. Tvayaitat palyate Devi Twamatsyante cha sarvada. Tvayaitat palyate Devi Twamatsyante cha sarvada. Okay. Next line. Visrishtau srishtirupatvam.
Visrishtau srishtirupatvam. Visrishtau srishtirupatvam.
Sthitirupa cha palane.
Sthitirupa cha palane. Sthitirupa cha palane.
Visrishtau srishtirupatvam sthitirupa cha palane.
Visrishtau srishtirupatvam sthitirupa cha palane. Visrishtau srishtirupatvam sthitirupa cha palane.
Tatha samhritirupante.
Tatha samhritirupante. Tatha samhritirupante.
Jagatosya jaganmaye.
Jagatosya jaganmaye. Jagatosya jaganmaye.
Tatha samhritirupante jagatosya jaganmaye.
Tatha samhritirupante jagatosya jaganmaye. Tatha samhritirupante jagatosya jaganmaye.
Good. Let's go back to the beginning and chant the last 5 shlokas together. Vishweshwarim jagadhatrim sthiti samharakarim Nidram bhagavatim Vishnu ratulam tejasaf prabhu Brahmovacha Tvam swaha Tvam swadha Tvam vivashatkaraswaratmika Sudha Tvamakshare nitye tridha matratmika stita Ardhamatra stita nitya yanucharya visheshataha Tvameva sandhya savitri Tvam devi janani para Tvayaitatdharyate vishvam Tvayaitat srujyate jagat Tvayaitatpalyate devi Twamatsyante cha sarvada Visrishtau srishtirupatvam sthitirupa
च पालने तथा संहृतिरूपान्ते जगतोऽस्य जगन्मये.
Good. Next line. Mahavidya Mahamaya.
Mahavidya Mahamaya. Mahavidya Mahamaya.
Mahamedha Mahasmritihi.
Mahamedha Mahasmritihi. Mahamedha Mahasmritihi.
Mahavidya Mahamaya Mahamedha Mahasmritihi.
Mahavidya Mahamaya Mahamedha Mahasmritihi. Mahavidya Mahamaya Mahamedha Mahasmritihi.
Mahamoha cha bhavati.
Mahamoha cha bhavati. Mahamoha cha bhavati.
Mahadevi Mahasuri.
Mahadevi Mahasuri. Mahadevi Mahasuri.
Mahamoha cha bhavati. Mahadevi Mahasuri.
Mahamoha cha bhavati. Mahadevi Mahasuri. Mahamoha cha bhavati. Mahadevi Mahasuri.
All right, this word is a little tricky, so I'm just going to do the one. Prakritistvam.
Prakritistvam. Prakritistvam.
Cha sarvasya.
Cha sarvasya. Cha sarvasya.
Prakritistvam cha sarvasya.
Prakritistvam cha sarvasya. Prakritistvam cha sarvasya.
Gunatraya vibhavini.
Gunatraya vibhavini. Gunatraya vibhavini.
Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini.
Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini. Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini.
Let's chant that line 4 times.
Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini. Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini. Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini. Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini.
Kalaratrir maharatrir.
Kalaratrir maharatrir. Kalaratrir maharatrir.
Moharatrischa daruna.
Moharatrischa daruna. Moharatrischa daruna.
Kalaratrir maharatrir moharatrischa daruna.
Kalaratrir maharatrir moharatrischa daruna. Kalaratrir maharatrir moharatrischa daruna.
Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris.
Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris. Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris.
Let's do just that part 4 times.
Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris
Tvam buddhirpodhalakshana
Tvam buddhirbodhalakshana Tvam buddhirbodhalakshana
Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam buddhirbodhalakshana
Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam buddhirbodhalakshana Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam buddhirbodhalakshana.
Yeah, this is another tricky line.
It's like they brainstormed tongue twisters and they put it all in one stotra.
That's, it kind of feels like that. It's very challenging. Some stotrams seem to kind of roll off the tongue. The combinations are maybe simpler or just easier for the mouth to pronounce. That is not the case in Devi Mahatmyam, and it's also long, like it's a longer stotram. So that's why it's like a journey, and there has to be a lot of perseverance and a lot of focus and deep concentration just to get the sounds correctly. So it takes a lot of effort, but it also brings that effort out. So this is something maybe we didn't know we had it in us until we attempted this stotram. It is a big challenge, so it's not something that comes very quickly, but taking it step by step, even half line by half line, and practicing on a regular basis, it will definitely come. But it's definitely like a mountain, like climbing a mountain for sure. Let's see. We have 5 minutes. All right, let's chant just that whole line 4 times. Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam buddhirbodhalakshana 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 Lajja pushtis tatha tushtis
Lajja pushtis tatha tushtis Lajja pushtis tatha tushtis
Tvam shantihi kshantireva cha
Tvam shantihi kshantireva cha Tvam shantihi kshantireva cha.
Should there be a comma after the...
To make it easier, yes, there should be a comma.
Okay.
But in not all texts will include that. Like generally, I think Mantra Pushpam tends to put it there as an aid to the chanter or the learner. I try to put it, so I think I've put it in my other text. So this is one situation where Visarga in the middle of the line is still pronounced in the full way. So it's like an exception to the general rule. And the reason is because it's followed by this specific sound, ksha. When ksha comes, then it's shantihi. It also happens in Rudram. Mahadbhyah kshulla, mahadbhyah kshullakebhyashchavo. So it occurs in the Vedas, and we also practice it the same way in Devi Mahatmyam. So I think I will try to put that comma there just to make our lives just a little bit easier.
Nowhere you see commas in Instagram. That's why
it's not.
When you get the hang of it, you know exactly where to.
That's the ideal situation. Because this is so tricky and challenging, sometimes I do things just to make it a little smoother, because we all, are trying so hard. Okay, bye, Gauri. See you. Let's try just that half line. Tvam shantihi kshantireva cha.
Tvam shantihi kshantireva cha. Tvam shantihi kshantireva cha.
Lajja pushtistatha tushtistvam shantihi kshantireva cha.
Lajja pushtistatha tushtistvam shantihi kshantireva cha. Lajja pushtistatha tushtistvam shantihi kshantireva cha.
Let's just go back to the 6th shloka. We'll just chant the last 3 and then we'll end the class there. We'll all chant it together from Mahavidya. Mahavidya Mahamaya Mahaveda Mahasmritihi Mahamoha cha bhavati Mahadevi Mahasuri Prakritistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini Kalatrir Maharatrir Moharatrischa Daruna Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hristvam Buddhir Bodhalakshana Lajja Pushtistatha Tushtistvam Shantihi Kshantireva cha. So, very good. Good progress. All right. So, we'll end the class there. So, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.